Hey, this is the track Moments Go By. Just doing a little bass patch overview uh, for this main section at 146. So the patches are fairly, I guess, fairly straightforward. There's a little bit of complexity to it, but it's not too much. Couple things to note off the bat is we have a EQ here in the automation. Other than that, not a lot of automation outside of Serum. And these patches are all Serum. So here's the section. And I have a couple little things going on. So if you play that out for, double the time, you get a little bit different character here and there. But that's kind of an overview of the sound going on. All right, so we're gonna go into the mixer. All the bass lines are going into channel 13. Let's try it without this lead on. So it's really bass line, drums, and a lead, really. That's all we got going on. And I'll turn the EQ on. You can hear at the beginning it's kind of filtered a bit. And this is what that filter looks like. So nothing crazy, just cutting a bit of the high. And it gives me the opportunity to open it up and then, give you a different tone. So the first thing you're hearing in this track is this main bass. It's not supposed to be particularly fancy. It's just kind of a saw wave. It's got some detune on it, and what we have is an envelope 2, which is moving the cutoff just this tiny little bit. And where it's getting a lot of the movement is that the cutoff is automated by note number. So if I play it, you'll see it kind of jumps around a bit. And what I like about that is I can have a higher note at the end of the 8-bar loop, and it'll kind of open up a bit more. So that's fun. I think it gives the track a little character. And we have mono legato and so little porta that I don't really know if it's doing much, but I think it does have kind of a flowy kind of sound to it. Other things going on, we have this LFO, which is off for the majority of the time, but you can see it slowly opens up. Sorry about that. And the opening is doing the fine tune here, and doing that just to make it sound a little weird, different. We also have LFO1, it's hitting the distortion here, and then we have a little bit of compression. So this is kind of, just kind of a fun saw wave, something to sit behind everything else. You see the actual MIDI, C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, and then we have a second pattern which is C sharp and C sharp and D. Very interesting stuff. Alright. The other two patches are down here, and they play in kind of the second half of the phrase, C sharp and C sharp, and if we go into the other one, it's the same, just an octave lower, and it's really one complementing the other. You can see here too, the second one just has an overall lower volume, because I want to emphasize, well, this one's more of the bass, and this is more of like a decorative, like kind of atmosphere part. So the first one, let's turn this other one off. Kind of hear it there. We'll just focus on that section for a sec. pause this for a second and we'll take a look. So I've used this kind of patch on other tracks as well. And what I like about it is I can kind of change the LFO tempo and it will give me cool results depending on what the tempo is. So if we just play it out, you get this steady beating sound from the LFO, but the first time you play it, this envelope 2 moves the combs over here, and that gives you a lot of texture at the beginning. So that's a big part of it. And then you have the LFO is doing FM from B, and we have a +2 triangle. Yeah, it's a triangle. I feel a bit silly for not knowing that. And then as just a general rule, I try and have something crazy, kind of messy going on here, and then just like a nice clean sub that's filling out the low end. If I wanted to go a little further, I could go +4, play it. So you get kind of that squealy kind of sound, which is fun, but for this track, I thought +2 kind of gave me what I wanted. I've had fun with these doing like +2 and then 7 semitones. And, you know, you can kind of mess around. We have a little bit of detune. I like the Monster 1 wavetable here. I have other tracks too where I have this same patch and then Monster 1 at a different wavetable position. And yeah, treats me pretty well. So this is like half the patch. The other half is going on in effects. So we have a few things that are turned off, just messing around with distortions and such. And then the phaser, we have just like the tiniest amount to give it a little character. And then we have the MG low, which is helping us out here. It's giving us that kind of cleaner sound, right? And you'll see that the cutoff is moving, and that's the other automation going on in my main track. So if I open up here, that's happening right here. So I don't know if it's entirely necessary, but just having that extra automation there, I think gives the sound a little more character, makes it a little more interesting. The other thing is, just to give you an idea of how much heavy lifting this filter is doing, it's pretty aggressive, right? So I like having that like really aggressive sound and then just filtering out a lot of the low, or a lot of the highs to give it some character. Finishes with a compression, and that's basically that patch. If you want it, this is the matrix. Really not a ton going on here. I think there should be one here for LFO to FM, but oh well, I don't know. So that's about it. Envelope 1 slightly has a little bit of attack, and I think that's really because it was popping, giving me those weird high-end clicks. So this just sorted that out. And yeah, I know this is a very simple envelope, but it makes for really cool sound design. I really like even how it drops down to 0. It doesn't just fall off, it moves back through the comb, which yeah, helps the tone overall. So that was that. The next one is the very similar patch. I'll just play it. Okay. And over here, there you go. And now this patch is, it's cloned from Serum 3. Yes, I always have very useful titles for my serum patches. So serum 4 is the same thing. Combs, same oscillator. Everything here is the same. The difference is we have distortion doing a little bit more. And the big thing is that I have this reverb here. And the reverb is following the LFO. So we have, as the low pass filter opens, the reverb comes up. Turn this off again. So yeah, pretty it's pretty nice without the distortion too. Yeah, and then again, got a compressor here. It's not really doing a whole ton of a lot. And it's also got Porta, so that's kind of that. If you want to see like just the automation in, or if I just did like a C# for like, let's say 8 bars, and then I'll put this one on as well. I think this one goes an octave lower. You can kind of hear what happens when it plays out for a little longer, and give you an idea of how that envelope is working. This might not sound great, but hopefully it's pretty good. We'll see. You can kind of hear we're going through the envelope's finishing, and then it's starting to pulse off of the LFO. What I like about this too, let's try it. Yeah, I really like a bit of glide in my tracks. I do a lot of that. So if I go like D4. Yeah. You know, so you have to polish it a bit, but that's kind of the idea. So there you go. Other than that, it's not a whole lot. It's not routing to anything. It's not sidechained at all, which is probably incorrect, but I think it still works pretty well. And my master chain, I have nothing right now. Thought I had a Maximus, but yeah. So there you go. That's overview of the baselines in here. Not a whole lot else going on. We have, I try to give it character through having those slow LFOs and kind of random time intervals to make it just a little different. And having the second one there, the kind of reverby high-end one, I think just helps out in general. So that's how I did it. All right, take it easy.